Okay guys, so in this video I've come up to a place about 90 kilometers north of Dubai. It's a coastal location just past Al Quwain, and I've heard about this location as being good for shooting wading birds, coastal birds and things like that. Never been here before, so I'm not sure what to expect, but I've got the Sony A7RV camera and the 200 to 600 millimeter lens. The tide is quite far out at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see what we can see. I'm a little bit worried about the reach, how much reach I'm going to have, but let's jump in and see what we can find. There's a lot of birds out here today. Looks like a good variety, and there's a lot of birds out here today. Yeah, so the conditions are really perfect. It's low tide, there's a lot of birds. I must say I'm really happy to see how many birds I've got out here today. Normally before I jump in and I start taking photographs and videos and things like that, I like to just check out the environment with the binoculars just to get a feel for what's out there before you start focusing on specific areas to photograph and specific birds to photograph and things like that, just to get a general overview of what's out there. I'm going to get a little bit closer to some of these birds in a minute, but I just wanted to get an overview of what's out there. And here we have our first visitor for the day, this cute little common ring plover with these very distinctive collar around the neck and short orange legs, and he's able to move across the water quite quickly because the tide is so far out. Because the tide is so far out, these birds are able to wade across the shallow water in puddles, looking for food, looking for little crabs and crustaceans and things like that. These look like sandpipers. They've got a long, slightly decurved beak, so they're able to probe into the water looking for little crabs and small animals and fish. So one of the problems you face when you're shooting birds out in the open like this is that you're very, very conspicuous, and the birds can see you from a mile away as you get closer. So you need to try and get yourself down as close to the ground as possible to be able to get closer to the birds. Get your body down close to the ground. I normally take a little chair with me. Take your camera down, get your camera down to the ground, get your tripod down so that you can try and get a little bit closer. Because even with the 600mm lens, it's very difficult to get the reach that you're looking for. These birds are about 150, 200 meters out from me at the moment because the tide's also moving out and it's not possible to get any closer. So you really need to get your body down as close to the ground as you possibly can, because every meter does count. There's quite a few of these little sandpipers out on the water today. That little guy in the back looked like he's only got one leg, but he's actually got two legs. The other one is just tucked in underneath his body, and they sometimes hop around like that on one leg, looking for small crabs and things like that. And here we have this beautiful BlackWinged Stilt. Long orange legs, graceful bird, beautiful bird. Looks like he's found a feather or something and he's playing around with it. He thinks it's a fish or something. But he's having his turn looking for a little bit of food for the day.
and he's able to wade into the deeper waters because he's got those long legs. Beautiful bird. And this little guy is called a Kentish plover. Cute little small plover, similar to the common ring plover we saw earlier, but a slightly smaller plover. Cute little bird. These birds are quite far out. They're about 100 meters out, and sometimes it's difficult to get the reach that you're looking for when you're shooting these birds and photographing the birds, even with the 600mm zoom lens. And that's why I really enjoy shooting with the Sony A7RV camera, because it's got a very high resolution sensor of 61 megapixels, and that allows you to crop in using the APS-C mode in the camera, or to crop in post and get even closer to the birds. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is the raw file, which was taken at a 1.5 times crop using the camera's APS-C mode, which gives me a 26 megapixel file. And then I'm able to crop in even further in post to a 300% crop, which is a 4 times crop, and that still gives me a nice, sharp and usable image. And that's one of the benefits of shooting with the Sony A7RV camera, is that you've got that high megapixel camera sensor so that you can crop in and get closer to your subject. The only thing you need to be aware of when shooting with a high resolution camera is that any movement in the camera will pick up in your final photograph and cause it not to be in focus. So it's quite unforgiving. So to avoid that, I always recommend putting the camera on a tripod so that you can make sure that the camera is absolutely still and you still end up with a nice sharp in focus image. But it's really, really awesome to have that ability to be able to crop in and get closer to your subjects, especially when you're shooting wildlife and birds. Every meter does count. This is the raw file that was taken at 600mm, 61 megapixel. And again, because I've got so many megapixels to play with, I'm able to crop into 300% and get really nice and tight around that bird and still have a sharp, good quality, usable image. These are the grey hooded gulls in their winter plumage at the moment, so you're not seeing the grey hood. All you can see is that greyish small spot behind the ear. They're enjoying the little bit of sun that's come out. And this little guy is called the Eurasian golden plover. Small, cute, puffed up little bird. Little plover. Got a short neck. So the further out the tide goes, the further out the birds are moving. But the tide will change and start to come in again. Sometimes you just have to be patient and wait for the birds to come to you. I've moved to a different spot now, a little bit further down the way from where I was, and the birds are very far out, about 300 meters away.
but I've been in the same spot now, just standing very still next to the car, pretty close to the shoreline, and slowly but surely the birds have started coming back towards me. You just got to be patient.
So this handsome guy is called the common Redshank. Got long orange legs and a long straight beak. And he's also able to wade in the slightly deeper waters. These are ruddy turnstones. Not the prettiest of birds. They look a little bit scruffy. So it has actually started to rain, and I've had to move into the car. The weather's been changing throughout the day. It was a little bit overcast when I arrived, and then the sun came out. Now it started to rain. So I'm heading out to a new location, not far away from where we were, just to have a look around a little bit and see what else is in this area. It's more of a mangrove type environment, only about half a kilometer from where I was before. And this guy looks to me like a curlew or maybe a wimbrel. Looks like it could be a slender-billed curlew. It's difficult to distinguish them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think he's a slender-billed curlew because he's got that slender neck, smaller body. So I'm back at our original location and the sun's come out. And we've got quite a few new visitors now, like these common green shank, just enjoying the sun. As well as this beautiful little green bee eater. He's also just loving the little bit of sunlight that's come out, basking in the sun, drying out his feathers. And I think this might be the same western reef heron that I saw just a bit further down in the mangrove earlier. Let's come across to the side now that the sun's come out, taking his turn to walk through the deeper waters looking for a little bit of fish, something to eat. It's also called the Indian reef heron, and you get them in two subspecies, the black color, which is what we're seeing here, the black plumage, and also the whiter plumage. Beautiful bird, graceful bird, playing around and looking for fish. And this is his cousin, also the western reef heron, but the white subspecies. You can see that crest feather behind the head, which is one of the ways that you can recognize them. And these are spoonbills. They're able to wade through the deeper, much deeper water further out because they've got those long legs and long spoon-shaped bill. These birds look to me like yellow-billed spoonbills. They've got the yellow bill, although yellow-billed spoonbills are not normally found in this part of the world in the Middle East. So I'm not sure. They could be African spoonbills or Eurasian spoonbills. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think.
So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to head back to Dubai now. The sun is starting to go down and the tide is starting to come in, but the light is not very good at the moment, so I'm going to head back. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.